The moment my parents skipped my graduation for a Super Bowl party, I felt something in me break. But nothing prepared me for the day they came smiling, asking me for money as if nothing ever happened. My name is Evan Blake, and for most of my life, I lived with the hope that one day my parents would finally look at me like I mattered, not just as someone who blended into the background of their busy, noisy, chaotic lives, but someone they could be proud of. But that hope began cracking years ago, and on the night of my college graduation, it shattered completely. I still remember waking up that morning, my cap and gown hanging neatly from my closet door, the golden honor cords draped over it like proof that every sleepless night, every panic attack, every painful step forward had been worth it. My roommate, Alex, had already texted me 100 congratulations. My professors had sent emails. Even my distant aunt from Idaho had mailed a card. But my parents, nothing. No good luck. No, we're on our way. Not even a single acknowledgement. Just silence. Still, I held on to hope. Maybe they were driving. Maybe they wanted to surprise me. Maybe they cared more than they said. Maybe. Around noon, while I was fixing my tie in the mirror, my phone buzzed. A message from Mom. Mom, hey honey, don't forget to record the ceremony. We're heading to the Martins for their Super Bowl party. Your dad got invited to some VIP thing. Big moment for him. We'll watch your video later. Love you. My hands froze. My throat tightened. The room spun a little. They weren't coming. Not because they couldn't. Not because something came up. Not because life happened. But because a football party was more important than their own son's graduation. I stared at the message, numb. Not angry. Not crying. Just empty. Alex walked in and immediately noticed my face. Dude, they're not coming, are they? I swallowed hard. No. He looked at me with sympathy. The kind you give someone who's been wounded. So many times they don't even feel it anymore. You're going to be okay. I'm going to cheer louder than 10 parents, he said, trying to lighten the moment. I appreciated it. I really did. But nothing was going to fix the hole forming inside me. When I walked across the stage later that day, the cheers from the audience filled the hall, echoing off the walls like celebration, except the one voice I longed for wasn't there. I smiled for the camera because that's what you do. You smile, even when your heart is cracking like thin ice. After the ceremony, while everyone hugged their families, took pictures, cried tears of pride, I stood alone, a single student whose parents had somewhere better to be. In that moment, I promised myself something silently. One day, I'll build a life so big, they'll regret never being part of it. I didn't know how or when or what direction life would take me, but I knew I wasn't going to stay small. 3 years later, I'd kept my promise. Through grit, long hours, and more failure than I want to admit, I built a small but thriving tech consultancy. Nothing glamorous at the start, fixing server problems, designing systems, saving companies from self-inflicted digital disasters. But soon my reputation grew. People knew me for solving impossible problems. By my 5th year in the industry, I had contracts in multiple states, a team of 12, and a revenue stream I didn't dare imagine back in college. Yet despite everything, my parents barely acknowledged what I'd achieved. They called occasionally, usually when something big was happening in their lives. A cruise, a job promotion, a neighbor's wedding. I was an accessory in their world, not a priority. And then one afternoon, everything changed. It was a Tuesday, unusually quiet. My team had just finished a massive project, and I was finally relaxing. In my office with a cup of coffee when my phone lit up with a familiar caller ID. Mom! Something inside me tightened. She rarely called unless she wanted something. I answered. Hello? Oh, sweetheart, she said in a tone drenched with excitement. Excitement that had nothing to do with me. We heard such wonderful news about your business. Your cousin Jenna said your company just landed a big government contract? Is that true? I blinked. Yeah, we signed last week. She gasped dramatically. That's incredible. We're so proud of you, honey. The sudden enthusiasm felt rehearsed, scripted, too perfect. Before I could respond, Dad's voice chimed in the background. Ask him. Just ask him. Mom cleared her throat. Sweetheart, we wanted to talk to you about something important. There it was. The reason they suddenly cared. What is it? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. Well, she dragged the word like she was delivering bad news she didn't want to share. Your father and I have been struggling with some expenses lately. The house needs renovation, and your sister's wedding is coming up, and... Mom, I cut in softly, and get to the point. Her tone sharpened. We need 40,000. Silence. Thick, heavy, suffocating silence. I nearly dropped my phone. 40,000? It's not much for someone like you, Dad yelled from behind her. You've got the money. And after everything we've done for you, everything they'd done for me, they skipped my graduation. They forgot birthdays. They put me last in every decision. They treated me like background noise. But now that I had money, suddenly I mattered. My jaw tightened. Why do you need 40,000? Mom sighed like I was being unreasonable. We want to redo the kitchen before the wedding. The outdated cabinets will embarrass the whole family. And we're hosting the rehearsal dinner and... I closed my eyes. This wasn't about financial hardship. This wasn't about survival. This was about appearance, reputation, ego. Mom kept talking, her voice rising. You owe us, Evan, after all the sacrifices we made raising you. That was the moment something snapped. Not anger, not revenge. Clarity. I spoke calmly. Too calmly. Where were you at my graduation? Silence, then an uncomfortable chuckle. Oh, honey, don't bring that up. You skipped it for a Super Bowl party, I said quietly. Well, your father had an opportunity to network. It was important. And my graduation wasn't? She didn't answer. I continued, my voice steady but shaking inside. You never came to any of my events. Never supported my dreams. Never even asked how I was doing unless it benefited you. Still no response. Then Dad grabbed the phone. Stop being dramatic. Families help each other. Now step up and help us. I exhaled slowly. I'll help when you apologize. Dad scoffed loudly. Apologize? For what? We did nothing wrong. That was all I needed to hear. I ended the call. For weeks they bombarded me with messages, some sweet, some manipulative, some guilt-tripping. When that didn't work, they tried anger. When anger failed, they tried involving relatives to pressure me. Aunt Linda called. They're your parents. Give them what they want. Uncle Rob texted, you're rich now. Don't be selfish. Even my sister Melissa messaged, just give them the money. They're stressing me out. Every text was like a knife twisting slowly. But I stayed silent. Not out of spite, but out of survival. I had spent years begging for their love. Years hoping they would see me. Years thinking if I achieved more, earned more, became more, they would finally want me. But they only wanted what I had, not who I was. Months passed. Then something unexpected happened. One evening, while finalizing a partnership deal, I received a knock at my office door. My assistant peeked in. There's a couple here to see you. They say they're your parents. My stomach dropped. I stepped into the lobby. There they stood, Mom and Dad, dressed neatly, smiling nervously. Sweetheart! Mom rushed forward and hugged me. I didn't hug back. Dad cleared his throat. Listen, son. We came to talk face to face. We didn't mean to upset you. I crossed my arms. Then why are you here? Mom's eyes flickered, hopeful, then calculating. We thought, maybe now that emotions have cooled, you could reconsider helping us. Dad added, it's for the family. Don't forget where you came from. I looked at them carefully. Where I came from was neglect, was absence, was constantly being lost, was being forgotten unless it benefited them. I inhaled deeply. Let me show you something. They exchanged glances as I gestured them into my office. On the shelf behind my desk was a framed photo from graduation day, the one Alex took of me, smiling alone, surrounded by families who weren't mine. I handed it to them. Mom frowned. Why are you showing us this? Because this, I said softly, was the moment I realized I was on my own. Dad rolled his eyes. You're still holding on to that? Yes, I said. Because it mattered. It still matters. And until you understand why, you'll never understand me. Mom's voice wavered. We didn't think it was a big deal. That's the problem, I whispered. They stared at me, confused, frustrated, maybe even embarrassed, but not apologetic, not remorseful, not accountable, just inconvenienced. Finally, I spoke the words I'd been holding inside for years. I won't be giving you money. Mom gasped as if I'd stabbed her. What? How can you do this to your own parents? Dad pointed at me. Ungrateful. That's what you are. I didn't flinch. You can insult me. You can blame me. But you can't guilt me anymore. Mom's voice cracked, but with anger, not sorrow. Fine, be selfish. But don't expect us to be there when you need us. I met her eyes. You never were. She froze. They both stood silently, absorbing the truth they had avoided for decades. Without another word, they turned and left. For the first time in my life, I didn't chase them. A year later, something unexpected happened. My company won a national award for innovative tech solutions. I walked on stage, applause thundering through the hall. Someone in the crowd yelled, "We're proud of you, Evan!" It wasn't my parents. It was my team, my friends, the people who had stood by me not because of blood, but because of loyalty. That night, while scrolling through old photos, I realized something. Family isn't defined by who shares your DNA, but by who shows up when it matters. And my parents? They had shown me exactly who they were. So I moved forward, without anger, without resentment, without seeking revenge. Just peace, and sometimes Peace is the most powerful ending of all. And as for my parents, they never apologized, never tried to make things right, but they also never asked me for money again, because they finally understood something. They could no longer use the son they never chose to love. Sometimes the people who should clap the loudest never clap at all. Sometimes the ones who should protect you are the ones who leave first. And sometimes the loudest form of strength is choosing to walk away from those who never chose you.